the way that game went, it's such a defensive game and just putrid offenses. I mean, that Steelers offense was horrible to watch. It was just dump off to Kenneth Gainwell, throw behind the line, hand off to Jalen Ward, and it was just not getting any momentum. And once that fourth quarter hit, which you and I have talked about, feels like has been more frequent this season, where it's been those slower starts to the game and then just all hell breaks loose in the fourth quarter. And Johnny and I were talking about this, and he talked about the kickoff and it being brought back to the 35 is a huge advantage to those offenses because, I mean, you look last night, and obviously it wasn't because of the 35. It was because of a really good run back from Keaton Mitchell that set the Ravens up. But that is making a big difference because it's, even if it's a difference of 10, 15 yards, back where I was on the 20 or the 25, dude, that's a full first down if we're going 10 yards from the 25 to the 35. And a lot of teams can make that up quickly.
And if the touchback's not coming out to the 35 in that situation, the Steelers are just putting that in the end zone and taking the touchback and forcing the Rams to start at the 20 or 25. Instead, they're like, we're going to take our chances and let them do a return. And we did a kickoff video back in November, talking about some of that. The Seahawks kind of benefited from that a couple times this year. But that's, I think, played a huge part for teams getting into field goal range specifically. So
yes, I agree.
You're spot on, with that entire scenario and breakdown of what the new kickoff has kind of done. But then I thought this was kind of a crazy stat poll. Tyler Loop's miss on Sunday is the only one that came as time expired in the fourth quarter in the final week, with both teams' playoff hopes resting solely on the result of his kick.
That's if you're Tyler Loop, that is not a good stat to read.
Don't read it, Tyler.
Don't read it, Tyler.
Don't read it, Tyler.
Stay off the internet, buddy.
He'll be all right. But in
that's a tough one, man.
60,000 field goal attempts,
that's a lot.
You knew that moment was big. But then you see that, you're like, oh, fuck, it was real big.
Well, and dude, oh my God, the amount of, because the Ravens took the last play before that to center it. And if they were where they were, who knows? Maybe it missed by a good margin. It was pretty wide right.
Yeah, they had a timeout, right?
Yeah.
So I think there was 12 seconds or so there.
They knelt it. They literally centered the ball, knelt it, ran it down to 2, called a timeout.
And I was
talking about the Yankees.
I was like, you know what? If I'm the Ravens, I'd hand off to Derrick Henry here just to see if we can get closer in this situation in my head. And then I'm like, oh, fuck, you can't hand off to Derrick Henry in this part of the game because he's fumbled this season twice or 3 times late in games. But I still think, I know they're centering it, but I think you just watch Boswell shank one. It's cold out there. If you can maybe not throw or maybe not hand off, I don't know. I think it's a tough decision. Hindsight, makes it different. But my first instinct was hand off to Henry, and one to see if he pops it for 10 or 15 yards, which nobody pops it like that as frequently as Henry. But I get why they don't because of what happened.
Sure,
tough, man.
Yeah, total death threats. Dumb. Don't.
Yeah. But
don't
then,
don't
Tom, with the Broncos being, in it, they're the 1 seed. I've been so used to rooting for the best team to get into the playoffs to beat the Chiefs. Now I'm like, I want the shittier team. I want the more beatable team in the playoffs in case the Broncos got to play them. And I'm like, I think the Steelers are the more beatable team.
I think so, yeah.
So I'm like, okay, it's good. I actually wanted the Steelers to get in. I don't want the team that I think can make the most noise going in.
Yeah,
I have to root for favorable matchups.
Yeah.
Just trying to get my head around it, man.
Nolan, keep crushing it. Well, so Tyler Loop, because Lamar Jackson was interviewed after that game, and he was asked, he's like, have you spoken to Tyler Loop yet? And he's like, no, I haven't. But I was
fuck that guy.
Yeah, but he was livid at him before, and he was screaming at him because he kicked the ball out of bounds. So it was just a tough night for Loop too, because that one kickoff that he kicked it out of bounds and the Steelers started at the 40, it just continued that fourth quarter momentum there. I mean, dude, I will say there was some Aaron Rodgers magic in the air.
Oh yeah, Rodgers.
That was fun to watch, man. It was so cool. And I was very wrong. I was like, dude, this should be Saturday Night Football, this should be the Seahawks 49ers schedule makers. I was wrong. You picked the right game to be the last game of the regular season. By the way, Pete Carroll just got fired.
Oh, Pete. Sneaky Pete. We knew it was coming.
Yeah.
So he misses there. And then the Steelers, right before halftime, go for it with no time on the clock, and they get stuffed. So I'm like, there's 3 points. That's probably going to haunt them.
Yep.
And then Boswell misses. You're like, those 3 points are definitely haunting them. Luckily, Tyler Loop missed it. But in that second half, there was 2 incredible throws from Rodgers. Before the throw to Freiermuth to get him in range there was great. I set up that Kenneth Gainwell touchdown. He had another dime, and then Austin got open. That's an easy throw for Rodgers. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun that Rodgers is going back into the postseason, especially if this is his last year in the NFL. Yeah. It'll be nice to see quarterback of his legacy in the postseason after a failed experiment in the Jets, after a weird season with the Steelers. I like it.
Yeah. So Ravens started off the season with a thrilling Sunday night loss against the Bills, end it with a thrilling Sunday night loss against the Steelers. We'll see what happens to John Harbaugh. This is going to be the kind of real interesting note this offseason. This whatever. Sorry, I had to wake up at 5:30, so I'm tired. Off season. Because I do wonder if more of that pressure is coming from the fan base to get him fired than the front office. There's been lots of smoke, so we'll see if he actually winds up losing his job. But
yeah,
you're right.
Well, I think part of that is due to that article The Athletic posted about Lamar Jackson, like watch out this offseason. And then they do miss the playoffs. I don't know where that info is coming from. There's got to be disconnect somewhere that somebody's getting some sort of information. I don't think the Ravens are gonna. I would be surprised if they fire Harbaugh, but you never know.
If it's between Jackson and Harbaugh, you got to keep Jackson. I think that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, you don't move on from Lamar.
Yeah.
And Mike Tomlin, he's going into the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
And I think there was some thought that if the Steelers didn't make the playoffs, that Mike Tomlin would possibly step away and consider some sort of TV role or something, do the classic head coaching reset or whatever. I don't foresee that happening now that they're in the playoffs, but you never know.
Yeah.